here. We are in probably and possibly one of the most difficult markets that we've had in probably the last maybe 4 years.
So Dave asked us to help out and raise money Friday night, and we did a poker tournament for the SCORE Foundation, and you'll know where that money goes later from Dave. But it was great. So if you were in the room, if you're in the room and you played or participated or helped out in any way, raise your hand for the poker tournament of the night. So you have Don from Silicon Valley Associates. Everybody. Ramsey came with his wife, didn't play but paid. We had these beautiful chip runners. It was Dave Walsh and Jim Myrick. They were running around getting the money, and good job, Jim. I know you're back there, Don. Thanks for participating. But just want to announce, Dave, that the final number we raised was $4,000. So that was good. So that was in 4 hours, you guys. So it was a great tournament. So thank you, and good job, Dave. To you guys too.
And I want to thank Steve and the entire CSR team. If you've not been to one of their poker events before, this is not a simple production. This is a major production with a ton of time put in. Steve's staff was there working it. Several of Steve's agents are there helping out. I mean, they're behind the bar, making sure everybody was happy and getting food and running the food back and forth and running the drinks back and forth. You know, we don't appreciate the amount of effort this company and this management team and this ownership group puts into serving our community. I don't believe we do. So this is not just a thanks for this poker event, but thanks for all the things CSR does. So, you know, they are a stellar organization. So, again, thank
you. The Make-A-Wish kickoff barbecue is coming on up tomorrow. And know the coolest thing about being in the room today is that SCORE, the great organization they are, has paid for 2 tickets. So we're going to pull 2 cards, and right before we do our marketing, you're going to get 2 free tickets away. So you may have a chance to get one for free today. So that's cool, but why would you want to go? Well, obviously it supports the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Greater Bay Area Make-A-Wish Foundation. It takes $10,000 to grant a wish, and we're hoping to raise that. We expect about 500 plus people there. Obviously this in conjunction with what goes on next week during the tournament. We wanted to make it kid-friendly this week, so you take away all the excuses of I can't find a babysitter, bring the kids with you. 12 and under are free. We got stuff for them to do. We've got this semi-truck that comes in and it's got video games. So they go and play video games. Well, they can only put so many people in that truck at a time, so we have to keep them busy while they're doing that, so we'll make them cotton candy, and we got popcorn, and we got face painters, right? So we got lots of cool stuff for the kids to do. For the adults, we of course got beer and wine, we got food, sodas, we've got a DJ, we've got a live band. There's just tons of stuff going on this. It's at CSR at 5 o'clock. Tomorrow night. If you'd like to buy a ticket, they are $25. So if you didn't win, you can see me. I know Kelly Hunt has tickets. I know Steve Bonafide has tickets. Pat Dunham has tickets, or he's got something to say.
Tell about parking.
Parking across the street from CSR. There's a big shopping center. Go ahead and park there. Make sure you use the crosswalks or walk very fast, because we don't like people playing Frogger, right? We like to make you guys get there. So, anything else? Okay, good. All right, guys, pass it on to Cliff.
I just dated you.
Hey, folks. This Saturday from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock is a My Family's Closet clothing drive that will be put on at the LDS Church on Cherry Avenue in Willow Glen. And it's the 5th year for this event. And basically what we're doing is we're gathering all the clothing we can gather. We sort it out by gender and age and stuff like that. And we open it up to the public. It's a really big event, and people come from all over. It's free. So people come and get, organize it. They put it on. People come and gather the clothing they want for their kids for the school year. And if you have anything in your closet you haven't worn for 2 or 3 years and you want to get rid of it, give me a call at 408-799-8981. We'll make a connection. Jewelry, purses, and shoes are fair game. Yes. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bring a truck by my house. My wife has a walk-in that I'm sure most of that stuff hasn't been worn in years. Anyways, I'm just curious. Dave, do you have any kids? Yeah. figured that when you announced that about bringing the kids. See, I have 4, Dave, and if I get a night out with all of you, it's exactly what I want to do. All right, let's, where are we at? Sorry about that, Dave, you got me going. Oh, wow, party, go out, have fun. No, bring the kids, stress out, get them cotton candy, run around, then bring them home so they can't sleep. No, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow night by myself. All right, where are we at? Dave, come on back up, we'll do a lender update.
I actually like to comment on what you just said, and you're going to find out why. Steve Bonafide and myself both don't have kids, right? But we both have nieces and nephews. So we get to be the fun uncles. We get to wind everybody up, and then we get to go to our own houses. So, sorry. Right, Steve? So, anyway, so lots of stuff happening today economic-wise as far as what's going on with the economy and how things are improving. There was a couple of reports and another one coming out later today. And basically what has come out so far was our GDP, or gross domestic product. And it was a shocker. We were at 1%, expected to be at 1%. We're at 1.7. So you guessed it, everybody sold their treasury bills and mortgage-backed securities, so rates went up a little bit this morning. And then a little bit later, the Purchasers Managers Index came out. It was a little bit lower, kind of calmed things down a little bit. Then the ADP report, which is the payrolls report, came in a little bit stronger as well, so off again. And then later today at about 11:30, we'll conclude the Federal Open Market Committee meeting. That's Ben Bernanke. Remember we talked about him before, I put him on the screen before. He's going to be speaking like around 11 to 11:30 our time. And what he'll be talking about is, hey, the economy's getting better. Maybe we should stop spending $85 billion a month on treasuries and mortgage-backed securities, which will cause rates to go up even further. So, wild ride today. Hold on to your hats. As far as rates, in my opinion, the 30-year fixed average is at, for the last 30 years, is at 7.63%, right? So when we have anything underneath that, to me, that's a great rate. But rates in general are ranging anywhere between 4% and 5%, depending upon what kind of transaction you want to do, what you have for down payment, and everything else. So to kind of give you some clarity to that, if you were a first-time buyer doing an FHA loan and you're borrowing less than $417,000, you can pay for all your own closing costs, and you can pay 0 points and get it 4%, or you can go to 4 3/8 and have that all covered by your lender. If you wanted to buy a home that's a little bit more expensive, if you wanted to stretch that all the way to that 729 limit, put 3.5% down, then your range is going to range between 4.5% and 5%. Again, 4.5% where you're paying for everything yourself, 5% if you want the lender to cover all the impounds, everything else, right? As we shift on over to the Fannie Mae stuff, so people who have a little bit more down payment, you're looking at interest rates at about 4.5% at 0 points for under 417. And as we go over that 417 to the 625 limit, you're looking right around 4 3/4 for an interest rate. Now, here's the interesting thing. You can get jumbo money, and jumbo money is right around 4 3/4% as well. So, and a lot of people are thrown off by that. And they say, well, why can I borrow more money for cheaper than I can for less, for a smaller loan amount? Well, the Fannie Mae and the FHA stuff is traded every day on Wall Street, and it is directly impacted by what economic news happens. Whereas the jumbo money is the old school way of banking. Somebody has a checking or savings account or something that pays interest, right? They put their money in the bank. What does the bank have to do? They have to make money, so they have to go ahead and loan that money out. They're going to charge a higher interest rate than they're paying out, so that's why you start to see jumbo rates on a short-term basis that may actually be lower than Fannie Mae rates, and just wanted to give you an explanation on that. So thanks for your attention. I'll turn it back on over to Brian.
Thank you, Dave. Good job. Great job. I'm going to give a little tip in a second here, but first of all, I want to back up, and I want to thank everybody that puts this thing together, this event. And myself, Dave Walsh, Steve Bonafide, Jim Myrick, James Nichols, Don Jessup, Kelly, what's your last name, Kelly Hunt? And Mike Sibilia are 6-7 managers, broker owners that get together every single week and try to give you guys some pertinent information that you can share as you move forward in your careers and taking on the everyday lives that we deal with. So thank you guys for letting me be part of this. Also, I want to thank, they deserve a round of applause. Also, I want to thank Dave up there, Campagna, Carrie, and Ellen, who are at the front door. They're here every day. They don't miss a Wednesday for you guys to make sure that we get you guys in, get your food ready, get you pertinent information on the computer. So thank you three for always being here also. All right, with that, I want to talk for a second about what Dave just made a comment on, and that's old school. I'm going to be 49 in a month, and I'm telling you, I'm old school. Yeah, I'm getting up there. But I talked about old school. I talked about social media with the Twitter thing with Drew Brees, how that went viral. The other day, I went to a Facebook class, and not knowing how to register it, my wife fixed my front page picture with my kids on it, and it was amazing how many people liked or commented on the picture in such a short period of time. And I thought, wow, that's just a picture of my kids. If I do this right, I could get a lot of people to respond to me in the business world. So I'm looking at the social media going, hey, maybe I need to step forward and maybe I need to be viewed in this world on the social media, but I got to do it correctly. Because what do we got? We got Facebook, Yelp, we got tweets, Twits, LinkedIn. Come on, don't stop. What's that thing you had the other day? I'm sorry? Listen, it just goes on and on. I had 11 emails from 4:45 this morning when I woke up until I left the house at 7 this morning. And all of them were about something that was online training or get on this, get visible, do this, do this. So are we as realtors and affiliates doing that to help generate more business? Because I heard a comment the other day when we were talking about this. If you make a phone call or you knock on a door or you drop off a flyer, that's for the moment, right? But when you post something or LinkedIn something, that stays forever. So we have to be very careful what we do, number one, but we need to really get focused on taking ourselves into this lifestyle and make sure we're out there the right way to generate more business, to get us what we want, where we want to go, right? Does that make sense? So I'm not for the social media, even though I'm talking about it, but I'm realizing that I have to be if I want to get to the next level and take my business above and beyond where I want to go. It's scary. I mean, 47 responses on a picture of a kid, like in 15 minutes. So imagine if you have a great listing or something that you could put out there that you get 47 to 100 responses instantly. How much potential business is that? Right? So with that, we're going to take this into the internet world with Dave's future stats.
Okay, how's the market?
Great.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, that's the correct answer. Okay, that covers both ways. Okay, so I'm going to give you a bunch of different statistics this morning. Some of it's going to be on the board, some of it's, I'm just going to talk to you about it because I want you to get the big picture here. We are in probably and possibly one of the most difficult markets that we've had in probably the last maybe 4 years. What am I talking about? We're talking about we are in a market of a transitioning market. Okay, we spent the last 6-8 months in a red hot seller's market. Didn't matter what price you put on a property, probably you would find a buyer. Things have slowed, have they not? Right? So instead of getting 24 offers within 2 days after you put your listing in the market, now you're getting possibly no offers. Or possibly a couple offers, but they may not even be at asking price right now. So we're in a market in transition. A transitioning market is hard for realtors to work in because you don't really know which way the market's going. You saw this article, front page of the Mercury News. A couple Fridays ago. Housing prices leaped 33%. Your clients saw this article. What does that mean? That means every one of your sellers now expects their property to get the price they put on it simply because the Mercury News said so. Well, as you all know, if you read deep enough into the Mercury News articles, you realize this isn't even Santa Clara County. This is Contra Costa County they're talking about. Yeah, the fact it's in the San Jose paper, irrelevant. If you dig deep enough, you'll find that Santa Clara County has a 17% leap in prices. So that's the problem. Your sellers think that they're going to get whatever price they put on it. They know more than you do. It's simply a matter of putting it out there. Your buyers are saying, wait a minute, hang on. You know, there's nothing going on this property. Why can't I put an offer in here? And in fact, I want to go below asking price. What a novel thought. Negotiate a little bit? Maybe. But the point is, this is a difficult market for realtors and for consumers to know which way to go. Okay, so you could have that one buyer that's out there, and you're the only one that's coming in. You're coming in on with 26 other buyers on one property in Willow Glen, because that happens to be the one property everybody wants. Yet everything else is sitting there. So this is the part I'm trying to explain to you this morning. So what areas of Santa Clara County had the greatest appreciation or growth in their median sales price year over year? So if you look back to June of 2012, which areas went up? There's only 4 areas that beat the 17%. Actually 5 areas, excuse me. I don't really expect you to know, but because I get this data, you know. Number 1, Milpitas. Milpitas, 31.5% growth year over year median sales price. Number 2, San Jose in itself, and by the way, this is broken out by city. So San Jose in itself beat the spread with 22.3%. Number 3, Mountain View, 21.8%. Number 4, Gilroy, and then number 5, Sunnyvale. All the other areas were below the 20% level, or quite frankly, probably below the median. Anyway, but all areas that did well. So again, can you simply pick a property and put a price on it and expect it to sell? Not necessarily, because this transitioning market's teaching us a lot. Let's talk about what's going on specifically to our specific marketplace now. So you'll see that we're continuing to grow. We now have 1,900 unsold units. So in basically 90 days, we have doubled our available supply of housing inventory. Is that bad? I don't know. Is it good? I don't know. But it's doubled. Okay, so now we have 1,900. And the pendings are at 1957, so we continue to go up in available supply and down in pendings. Last year we were sitting at 1,402, so we're now 498 more. So what are you telling your sellers? Our inventory is up 36%, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and maybe it's time for a price reduction. If you truly need to sell, we need to be honest with what's going on in the marketplace. At the same time, our pendings have dropped 41%. So if you remember nothing else from this meeting, remember that. Inventory is up 30%, pendings are down 36%, and pendings are down 41%. Right? So that's the message here. Look at the percentage of Class 1s under contract. We're now below 50%. And again, that's a phenomenal market. It's just not what we're used to. We've been in the 60s and 70s, right? So our Class 1s under contract are 49.3%. Look where we were a year ago, 66.5%. Look at the Class 2s under contract, 54.5%, 80.5% a year ago. Okay, so that's kind of the big message I want to talk here. But before we get depressed, because I don't want you to get depressed on this, but I want to give you perspective. Anybody remember July of 2008? Flashback to those that were in business in July of 2008. I remember that well. Okay, so how many, look at this, remember the number up there with 1,900 combined? I can't do the math in my head. Actually, you know what, here's the count, here's what I want you to listen to. 1,414 single-family residences. So that 1,900 means 1,414 single families and 486 PUDs. Listen to what July of 2008 was. Single-family residences for sale. 5,454. 5,000, over 4,000 more houses for sale a mere 5 years ago. And PUDs, 1,675, up from the 486 we have today. So perspective, right? A whole different world. So guess what? 1,900 doesn't look bad anymore, does it? This means more choices for your buyers. Okay, but again, more realistic pricing has to come into play too. So let's look at the specific areas. Okay, we've got South County up. In fact, most of the areas went up. A couple of areas decreased. But again, this trend is just going to continue. As I told you earlier, it's going to continue through our summer months and possibly not peak until probably October, end of September, October. All right, so number out the column on the far right is the 52-week average. So if the 52-week average of South County is 140, the inventory currently is up 34%. Okay, Santa Teresa up 138% over the norm, if there is such a thing as a norm. Evergreen up 73% over the norm. And again, when you're taking a listing in Evergreen, do you need to tell your sellers that? Guess what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Now is not the time to be over-aggressive on your price. Inventory is 73% of what it typically is right now. I mean, 173% of what it typically is. So let's be realistic. Let's get you moved. Let's tell you the truth about the marketplace. Okay, thanks, Dave. Blossom Valley up 103%. Almaden Valley up 26%. Cambrian 74%. Campbell 43%. Santa Clara up 36%. You're seeing a theme, correct? I mean, it's going all the way along. And Central San Jose, downtown San Jose, Rose Garden 58%. Willow Bend 47%. Los Gatos 35%. And then there's Saratoga, down 5%. Just a great area, very solid community, obviously a lot of wealth there. And guess what? They're just weathering the storm kind of like Palo Alto does. It doesn't matter what happens, the marketplace is going to be strong and solid. So that's your Saratoga. Let's go to the next slide. This is a 7-month area comparison. I know there's, again, a lot of data for you guys to absorb. By the way, all the statistics you're seeing on the screen are posted on our Facebook site. So you can actually pull up and get all this data and download it if you want to, courtesy of Dave. Thank you very much, Dave, for doing that for us. Okay, so this is a comparison. This is a 7-month, almost 7-month comparison. I did it on July 29th. I didn't wait for the end of the month, but I wanted to show what's going on. This is a type of slide you can show your sellers, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Again, in a transitioning market, them getting away from this headline is important for you to get your property sold. So look at the number of units we're closing less this year than we did last year. Now again, it doesn't reference prices, it just means that activity levels are lower. And again, I realize a lot of this is because there's not very much inventory available, but there's a lot of different sales. Okay, so areas that are down, Alum Rock off 25.6%. Actually, I can do it this way better. South San Jose, area 11, which you don't see on the screen yet. Can you scroll that screen real quick, Dave? Okay, South San Jose, area 11, off 40%. So they have 290 closings in 2012 year to date. They're at 174. Milpitas off 24.8% and Santa Teresa off 24.7%. Look at Almaden Valley. Buck the trend completely. It's up 34.7%. So, what, you just go back to the slide for a second, Dave? You switch away for a second. Go to the back one. Yeah, go the last slide. There you go. Okay, so Almaden Valley. Why did Almaden Valley sell 68 more properties than it did the year before? I have no idea. No idea. Other than you guys are good. You guys are really good. You work the marketplace. You deserve all the credit. So we have 68 more properties. But isn't that bizarre? It'd be up 34% when the rest of the county almost universally is down in inventory, closed inventory. And I don't have an explanation for that. I just think it's kind of one of those strange anomalies. Now go back to the first slide again, Dave.
Because Almaden, like Saratoga, didn't have REOs and short sales.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. There's actually probably some science behind it. We actually thought about it, but you know, these volatile areas, some of these other areas are very volatile. Willow Glen and Campbell also, by the way, also have more inventory sold this year than last year. You know, and again, I don't have a direct explanation. We can, you know, guess a lot, but the truth is that the message is clear. A lot less closing. So go one last time. I'm sorry, Dave, the last slide. And you'll see our totals at the bottom. So 731 less closings in the county this year. Okay, that means 731 less escrows for the title companies, 731 less inspections, possibly for the termite companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so again, this is a message that is a bad message. No, it's not. It's just reality. In a transitioning market, that number is going to continue to get, the differential is going to continue to get larger. In other words, we're going to sell less properties in the second half of the year than we did in the first half of the year simply because of interest rates, right? Appreciation, interest is going to kick in. So it's a transition to market. So hopefully you learned something this morning and a way to go to your clients and say, now is the time to do price reductions. Now is the time to look at this market in a different way than you've had to the last 8 months. It's not the market's up 33% anymore. It's the market is the market. Okay, and that's it. That's your market update.
Thank you, Dave. So I got a quick question for Dave. If he's got all these statistics and we see the trends and everything going on, the question I have now is, are sellers going to now say, wait, I'm going to hold back because I missed the market for a little bit and we'll see the inventory go down again?
No, I don't think so. This is the proverbial gravy train. You know, those of us that had a property 5 years ago had an inflated opinion of our value of properties, and we watched them collapse over the next 5 years. And guess what? For most of us homeowners, and most of the people you're dealing with, they're back to their 2007 or at least very near the 2007 values. And you know what? Maybe the lesson we learned is, this is a good thing. Let's cash out now. So I'm not so sure there's going to be a lot of people say that the spring is going to be a stronger resale market and the prices are going to continue to appreciate. I think we're going to see a leveling off. Remember I told you about 6 months ago when I'm back at my strategic planning meetings and they talk about appreciation for the areas. Santa Clara County had an 8% projection for appreciation in the year 2013, right? Actually they said 5%. Off the record they said 8%. Well, we're well above that. Should we be double that? I don't know. I don't know if that's a sustainable number. So I think that what's going to happen is we're going to build possibly next year's appreciation into the statistics we've already seen. Will be a leveling out. It'll be a fairer market. Maybe that's the way to explain it. It'll be a fairer market for both buyers and sellers. Can they continue this 100,000 over the last comp every time? No, I don't think so. So I think you tell your sellers, this is the market. This is the time to sell. This is better than it's been in the past 5 years. Don't expect it necessarily to continue to have any kind of rapid appreciation next year. But again, as I've always told you, I really don't know anything. I just read all the stats and I hypothecate like you guys do. I have to spend more time doing it.